In this Tower Fantasy video, we're going to decide which weapon is better, Shiro's Chakram of the Seas or Claudia's Gurren Blade. Obviously, both weapons are meant to work together and do incredible damage when they do, but still, the question remains, which is actually the better weapon? If you're new here, please subscribe to this channel for Tower Fantasy and other Genshin Impact-like games, and down in the comments below, let me know which weapon you like more, the Gurren Blade or the Chakram of the Seas. And also, when you are talking about weapons in Tower Fantasy, what name do you use? The name of the weapon or the name of the character? Asking for a friend. Alright, to decide which weapon is better, we first need to take a look at each weapon and see what they do right and what they do wrong. I have both weapons at 1-star advancement, and both are at similar levels. Starting with Shiro, this weapon looks amazing on paper right off the bat. Shiro has a fantastic awakening skill, Security Alert. What it basically does is increases the Wanderer's attack and physical attack a small percentage after using a skill or discharge skill for 8 seconds with a cooldown time of 16 seconds. With a cooldown time that short, you are almost always going to get a damage boost when using a skill or discharge. Shiro's second awakening, Red Alarm, increases the damage buff percentage to 16%. The Chakram's dodge skill is pretty nasty too. Waning Moon at 1-star advancement allows you to throw a Chakram forward to deal damage equal to 132.9% plus 419, and it also inflicts stun for 0.5 seconds. The Chakram splits into 3 and continues to deal damage to targets in their path equal to 24.2% of attack plus 76. And during full bloom, Shiro's skill, the split Chakrams will actually bounce inside of the ring along with all of the others. So far, so good. Haven't seen anything that looks bad at all. Looking at the skill, Full Bloom, this creates a Chakram domain centered on the Wanderer for 8 seconds. The description reads that enemies are supposed to actually be pulled in and have their speed reduced by 30% for 8 seconds. There are a total of 5 Chakrams that are bounced between enemies, and each one deals 24.2% of attack plus 76, and they bounce up to 5 times. And I gotta tell you, from personal experience, this is actually crazy good. The discharge skill, Spirit of the Air, unleashes the Chakram of Seas at a target. The target getting hit causes an AoE stun for 1 second plus 1 attack each against up to 3 units every second, and each attack has a 10% chance to stun targets for 1.5 seconds. The damage dealt by this is 41.4% times attack plus 131 damage for 10 seconds. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I read this description several times while writing this script, and I can't definitively tell you what it means other than this discharge does a good bit of damage and has a very small chance to stun targets. But in reality, using this discharge skill is amazing and feels amazing. Looks like lightning strikes coming down, and in my experience, targets are almost always stunned no matter what. Does it do fantastic damage on its own? Probably. I haven't seen anything crazy in terms of numbers, but what this discharge shines at least in my opinion, is holding enemies in place so you can deal damage on top of damage. My automatic thought process when I first started using Chakram's discharge was to build up 2 discharges so I can deal ridiculous amounts of damage in a localized area. In the gameplay you're seeing, I'm doing that with King Scythe of the Crows, and the result is just meaty freaking damage. Now, over on the Gurren Blade side, Claudia has something huge that Shiro does not, and that is the physical resonance. Now, this doesn't do piss for weapons that are not physical types, so I'm not sure how huge this actually is, but for the conversation of which weapon is better, this is super relevant. Gurren Blade increases physical attack by 15% and physical resistance by 25%. You activate this by equipping 2 or more physical type weapons. Now, there is one more part that reads, this effect also works with weapons in the offhand slot, and this effect does not stack repeatedly. Now, I don't know what offhand slot refers to, so if you know, please educate me in the comments. I got an idea, but I don't want to sound stupid. Now, like I said earlier, I have both weapons at 1-star advancement, and Claudia's 1st star is crazy. It says after hitting a target with a skill or discharge, it gives you 1 stack of a damage increasing buff that ups damage by 8% for 25 seconds, stacking up to 3 times for a maximum of 1 stack per skill use. So what that says to me is because Claudia's skill Roam has such a fast cooldown time, you're meant to stay on this weapon quite a bit and deal damage and to use the skill over and over. Shiro's 1-star advancement just increases damage dealt to and all shattering effects on targets within Full Bloom's range by 30%, which might be a better advancement than Claudia, but the cooldown on Bloom is 45 seconds, a lot longer than Claudia's 15-second cooldown on Roam, and to me, Roam is just a better attack overall. Now, speaking about Roam, this thing is actually pretty broken. You literally anime attack targets in a large area, dealing damage equal to 418% of attack plus 1,450 to up to 5 targets. That's insane. though consecutive hits on the same target are reduced by 20%, which still isn't bad. After roam is finished, you actually slash the space in front of you, dealing damage equal to 264% of attack plus 916 to surrounding targets and suspend them. You're also immune to control effects while the skill is in use, and all damage taken is reduced by 50%. Like, that's so good. Don't get me wrong, Shiro's skill is good too, but this is on a whole nother level of good. And this skill only has a 15-second cooldown time. Are you kidding? Claudia has Shiro beat in the skill department. What do you think? Claudia's dodge skill is called Leap Attack, which is a basic sort of attack that only really has one good aspect about it. It says it strongly suspends a target while going airborne. Now, I spam this skill, and I gotta tell you, I hardly ever see a target go airborne with it. I mean, it looks cool, and yeah, they do go airborne sometime, and it hits. So if you're using a chipset that does something with dodge skills, like applies bleed, this is pretty good. But otherwise, it's not really that spectacular, except for the cool animation. Shiro's dodge skill isn't all that amazing either, though I guess it takes the W here because it actually interacts with her actual skill to deal more damage. Now, Claudia's discharge skill is kind of love-hate with me, simply because 40% of the time it just misses, which just might be a me problem. Let me know in the comments if you miss with her discharge skill sometimes too, but it's called Unbridled Flurry, and I will say this, when it hits, oh, it hits. Basically, you are running at your target and unleashing a Beyblade attack that spins and deals incredible damage. The spinning blade only lasts for like 4 seconds, but during that time, if it hits, it deals damage equal to 523.3% of attack plus 1,815, leaving behind a Blade Storm, that's the Beyblade, that deals a further 209.6% of attack plus 727 damage, while giving you immunity to Grievous, Freeze, Burn, Electrify effects for 5 seconds. Now, I might just be biased here because I like Gurren Blade more than I like the Chakram, but in terms of damage, it looks like Claudia has Shiro beat, at least on paper. In actual in-game terms, I like both, and both have their qualities. The hidden quality that isn't mentioned anywhere in Claudia's description is how fast you get weapon charge by using roam. I made a build video on the Gurren Blade before this one, and it used King's Scythe of the Crows as the main vehicle for damage while using Claudia as the charge fuel, and I still think that is one of my best, if not my best build for damage to date. On the flip side, Chakram Discharge plus King's Scythe Discharge is pure evil, and nothing I've seen comes close to matching that technique, that ability, that skill, those two put together in sheer power. The race between these two is close, but I think Gurren Blade just wins because of the damage aspect. Shiro is a physical damage weapon, and it just doesn't feel as powerful as Claudia. It has useful applications for sure, but Claudia just has too much. The physical resonance, the weapon charge speed, the damage. Claudia's awakening skills are pretty trash in my opinion. She just goes invisible for a second or something. Not even sure why that's a thing. So at least Shiro has Claudia beat in the awakening skill department. So that's my verdict. Claudia is better. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments right now. I know I didn't touch too much on their star advancements, and that's simply because I don't like to comment on things that I can't actually do or show in a YouTube video, but I will say this. They both have really good 6-star advancements, so it would be worth it for both of them if that's something you choose to do. I'm guessing 6-star in characters is what those people in operations who get like 20 mil damage have done. Like seriously, I did one operation and I can burn pretty good now. Like my burn is like decent, but this one guy just left me quite literally to the point where I thought, there's no way, he must be cheating. But I realized he must have 6-starred one or all of his weapons. But for us budget build players, I'd say Gurren is the way to go to get more damage. And like I said at the beginning of the video, sure, they are meant to work together. And I've run them together a bunch and have seen very, very good results. If this video was helpful to you in any way, shape, or form, you can show me your thanks by hitting the like button and subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. My name is Ventus SGN. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Peace out.